Some people would call this GTO a symbol of American muscle. I would call it a pile of junk with a Holden badge on it. This X-Racer has seen better days, but can we get it back to where it once was? Stay tuned to the end to find out. You won't believe how much wiring we had to deal with.
No. You don't need to be turning that thing off just because there's about to be some conflict here. The viewers need to know what the hell's going on around here. What were you just saying?
Did you get a bank notification while you was in?
No. You said something about spending some of my money.
Oh yeah, like maybe 11,000.
You already owe me for 2 cars.
Close one, but you wasn't even in the country.
Show me this car. Where is it?
You ready to see it?
A Pontiac. You got to be kidding me. You spent $11,000 on a Pontiac. You know they went bankrupt, right? They're like out of business.
Yeah.
There ain't a Pontiac on this planet that has probably got a salvage title.
I don't know. I didn't look into it that much.
The guy's spending money and he doesn't even know what he's doing. All right. What makes this car so special that you had to just go spending other people's money?
Look at it. It's beautiful.
I can see it's got hail damage on it.
It has hail damage.
It's a beautiful car with hail damage. I mean, really, what are we looking at? I just don't get it. There better be something big and shiny underneath that hood. I got excited at first, and then I looked over here and I got really excited. There's one thing that's for sure. It ain't safe for you to be driving this thing on the road.
This thing is quick.
Yeah, but with you behind the wheel, it's dangerous.
Look, I am a professional driver.
This thing has turbos on it. Twin turbos. 2 turbos. On a V8. What's it pushing, do you know?
600 at the wheels.
Give me the keys.
There's no keys.
Mother, it's my car. Have you paid for it?
Technically, yes.
Oh my gosh. Dude, somebody was racing this thing. Yeah, look at this. They got a battery box. That's, again, racing specs. Okay, so you bought an old race car.
Yeah.
You know there's even more mods in if they've done that. So that's why you don't have a key.
Nope. That's the kill switch.
Okay.
Your start button is over here where your traditional key cylinder is. You want to hear it?
How many miles on it? Man, that thing sounds sweet. That is one cool sounding car.
Get in. Let's go.
No. I think I'll pass for now. When she's ready, I'll take it out for a spin.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Nate take care of his side of things. He's also identified that it needs a power steering rack and a front and rear windshield. But I'll tell you what, I still can't believe that Nate went on my Copart account and bought a hail-damaged Pontiac behind my back. This situation has been a massive wake-up call for me and my online account security. And I'll tell you, Nate having my Copart password is the least of my worries. Because now I've got to hunt down a bunch of random parts to fix this mess. When I'm online, going on carpart.com or on eBay, I'm certainly not trusting these guys with my passwords and my credit card information on an unprotected connection, which is exactly why I use today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark encrypts my connection, so my financial data and my browsing history stay completely hidden from hackers and from my internet provider. Plus, they just rolled out 2 massive new features. A web content blocker that stops malicious ads and malware dead in their tracks, and an email scam checker to filter out fake phishing emails pretending to be shipping updates for my parts. There's absolutely no risk in trying because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to surfshark.com/NKYAuto or use promo code NKYAuto and get an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN for free. The link is right at the top of the description below and pinned in the comments. Now, let's watch Nate get some work done. So Nate's finished up what he can do over on the body shop side. He's put a little bit of miles on it and working up a final punch list for us. One thing that he's got a big issue with is noise coming from the back of the car, the underside of the car. He's not really sure where.
So we want to get it up in the air, see if it's the rear differential, if it's one of the rear wheel bearings, if it's coming out of the transmission. You know, not really sure. And he's complaining about the power steering. He says he's got some play in it where it turns and then it grabs and it's leaking fluid. So we'll have Billy take a look at that while he's got it up in the air. So one thing we noticed right off is that the rear differential is wet. It's covered in oil. So something's leaking because you see how this is all black and oozing and it's all dark here where it's been leaking out. So I suspect strongly we're going to find the rear differential's low on fluid. So we'll get that drained and get it topped off with some fresh fluid. But otherwise, we've been checking the different bearings and listening to everything, and we're really not hearing much. So we'll probably start with that fluid change. Look at this. That's red. That's power steering fluid. This rack is leaking. Yeah, so when Nate put this power steering rack in, he didn't get this line tight, and it's leaking fluid all over. So we'll get that tightened up while we got it in here as well. Okay, so we found a couple things. The rear differential is soaked, so it's clearly got a leak. We're gonna drain that, fill it, clean it up, get some fresh fluid in there. If that doesn't fix the problem, we've got a really minor wheel bearing noise on the right rear. It might get worse with a load on it, we really don't know. So we'll go there if we have to. We're also gonna check the transmission fluid level, make sure that that's not low. And the power steering has got a metal line on the top of it that is leaking, which could be introducing air to the system and creating the effect that he's getting. So we want to get that sealed up so it's not leaking anymore, get it topped off and bleed the system out before we go trying to R&R the rack again. So Billy's got a little bit of work cut out for him. All right, so Billy's hooked us up. The rear differential had a bunch of moisture, so he got that cleaned out of there, got it drained and filled. The transmission fluid was black, did not look good, so he went ahead and did a tranny flush on that. It's got some fresh fluid in the tranny, and he was able to fix that power steering leak. He's worked the system back and forth, hopefully got all the air out of it. So we're gonna give the car back to Nate, let him put some miles on it, make sure that he's comfortable with it, and then assuming he is, we will finally get to start what we bought this car for in the first place, which is all this hail damage. Let's get it over to the body shop.
All right, so got the GTO pulled in, drove it around for a few months. It runs pretty good. Now I'm fixing all the dents. It was over in the mechanic shop. Rack pinion was leaking, a few other little issues. Rear end was making a little bit of noise. I thought maybe I pushed her a little too hard, but no, that's not the case. She was just leaking. So now, got all the dents grinded down, most of them anyways. I gotta stud them all out, get the metal as flat as possible so I don't use as much filler. Do all my body work, do my prime work, and then I'm gonna block it down again. This one here is getting a little extra care. This one's gonna be slick. All right, so Caden, I need you to come in here. Did something over the weekend. I decided to do this off the clock because this is gonna be my baby. This is it. Got all the body work done in like 2 days. Came in, painted it. Now it looks black. Matt does not know about this. Looks black. It got pearl in it. It's a little dirty from where I was working, but outside, I'm sure it'll pop. I have not had it outside yet. Now, it does need some mechanical work. We're gonna send that next door. I gotta go get Matt, talk to him, and then he can drive the baby over.
Man, she is looking sweet. He has done a good job with this thing. Let's find out what's going on. Why do I just dread going in here every time? See, that's the problem. Nate, I was all excited. I seen this GTO out there, by the way. It is looking really good. That paint job is awesome.
It's good on.
I mean, I would have done better, but it's pretty damn good for a fair to Midland painter.
Don't look bad for a 3-day job.
Can we take it? Is that thing good to go over to mechanical?
Yeah, you want me to show you how to start it? It's dead.
I am worried because, first of all, it's Nate's car. Second of all, it's a Pontiac. When you have to pick up a screwdriver and a jump pack, then I'll know.
I do gotta get a screwdriver. How'd you know?
All right, Charles, I don't know if I should apologize or not, but yeah, he just got a screwdriver to start this thing.
Oh boy, what do you got me into?
And this is standard operating procedure. I mean, it's in the owner's manual.
For any of my cars, absolutely. All right, Charles.
Holy balls.
You want to do this part?
No, go ahead.
Welcome to Kentucky.
I just need somebody to hold down.
All right, let's get it over in the shop and I'll show you what we got in store for it. Okay, let me show you the first project that we got. The left rear wheel, it is outside of the wheel opening. And come over here to the passenger side. It's inside the wheel opening. So what we've discovered is that the previous owner had put some wheel spacers on it. Some, meaning not all of them. We're gonna get the wheel spacer off. We've got all new studs that are the standard length studs, so we can replace the studs and get the wheel back in so it matches the other side. They're the standard OEM length studs, so we'll get those installed. That's project number one. The next project is we have got a new heavy duty starter because of the additional compression with the turbos. We want to go ahead and upgrade this starter. The big problem is the ignition. There's no ignition. He's having to open the hood and use a screwdriver to start the thing. So we've got a new column that's got a complete ignition with the key. So we're gonna get the column switched out. We're gonna reuse the current steering wheel, but that's gonna be a big project because there's wiring gonna be involved as well. All right, we've got a new intake tube because that current tube is collapsing sometimes. So we've got a nice new stiff one. We'll have to get that installed, get that air temp sensor put into it. And there's a problem with one of the headlights. Let me show you. The passenger side headlight's not working. And Nate, when he was working on the car earlier, he tried to get it going, but just couldn't figure it out. We've got some cut wires here. Fortunately, we got Charles.
Yay me.
So let's see how it goes. All right, it's almost 5 o'clock. Charles has been a busy beaver today. He's got a lot done. But I'll tell you what, why is it that anytime we come after something that Nate has touched, it turns into a clusterfuck? And that's exactly what this is. The headlight, for example. He's got the headlights working, that was great. Ended up having to take the bumper cover off. The wiring harness that comes out of the headlight was touching up against one of the tubes for the turbo, had melted the wire, so he had to clean the wires up, get that fixed, get it secured back so it doesn't touch the tube anymore. We now have a working headlight. The starter ended up being a project because, of course, the new starter was slightly different. It couldn't fit the heat shroud anymore. The spacer wouldn't fit. We had to get new bolts. The starter wires on the old starter came off the back. On the new starter came off the top, so we had to modify the wires. But he got the starter in there. It's all working. And then on the wheel studs, that project actually went fairly smooth. The old spacer, look at that thing. That was a big spacer they had in there. But he got the spacer out, got the new studs in there, got the wheel done. So that's all working good now. And then in the trunk, you won't believe this, he had to take out a bunch of wire nuts. Like, who uses wire nuts on a car? I thought that shit was illegal. But sure enough, they were in there. So he got all those out. He's now got them soldered together with some heat shrink on it. And then the steering column. Let me show you. What a mess he got into on this steering column. All of these wires came out from up under the dash and under the carpet. It ended up being a big mess. So he's got it cleared up to just this one set of wires here that goes to the ignition. So next he's gonna have to put a bunch of spade terminals on this, build up a new plug to get on the back of that ignition, and then hopefully it actually works and we're not having to tear the interior out to start tracing all these wires. So that's tomorrow's project. Hopefully he gets that done and this thing's off to detail. All right, so it's the next morning. Things have come along pretty nice on the GTO. Charles just about has everything wrapped up. He's grabbed Nate from the body shop to put the bumper cover back on because, well, let's just say Nate can be a picky little and this is his little baby. He doesn't want anybody to scratch it. So you know what? He can put his own bumper on.
Damn right.
Then when it's all screwed up later, we can just be pointing fingers right back at him. But at any rate, he's getting the bumper back on. Charles got the new steering column in, got all that wiring switched around. He's got it up on the car, got it programmed. So now he just needs to get the shrouds back on there. He's got the trunk wiring all fixed up. Hopefully we're gonna have this thing out of here in the next hour or so.
Hi. Come on, Betsy. Now this is how I learned how to use my fingers so good.
I know he's over there saying some.
Come over here, I'll teach you something. Your old lady might thank you later. Show you how to use them fingers.
Just get the bumper on.
Smell it.
Because all the people that do body work.
Was you saying something? It's like you cut out halfway through. You alright?
He's got it all back together. Says everything's done. He's got that new starter in there. He's got the new ignition. Here's the moment of truth. Actually, it sounded really good. There's no alignment on that starter. Just
I already shimmed it and lined it.
oh, did you?
It had to have 2 shims put in it.
No. Yeah, because it doesn't. No
It's not a
grinding.
factory starter.
And it worked off the ignition. Without the race car ignition, is it still a race car?
Maybe.
All right, well, I think we're done with this thing. Let's get Nate back his car, and then we can look at the numbers on this thing and see if it makes any sense for Nate to be buying a rebuild, having to do all this hail damage and paint work, or if he'd have been better off just writing a check. All right, well, let's run the numbers and find out. The cost on the car was $11,614, and then he spent another $450 getting it shipped down here from Mad City, Wisconsin. The parts and the labor wasn't that bad. We had $1,450 worth of labor over here on the mechanical side, and we had another $550 worth of labor from the body shop. And yes, I did just put $550 worth of labor from Nate out of the body shop on his own car. I can't make this up. Yeah, he actually did that. But regardless, about $100 for just some miscellaneous parts over there. And over here we had $2,040 in parts, which brings his grand total in the car to $16,211.70. The car retails for just under 20 grand at $19,946. But this car has a clean title. We'll only have to take about 10% off on a car like this, which means it really is legit worth about $18,000. Except, don't forget about all those mods, and they add up. That UPP turbo kit alone with the turbos, about 3 grand. The AFR heads, those are about 6 grand. And then in the back, it's got those BC racing coils. It's got that stage 2 fuel pump with the injectors. It's got a bunch of gauges. All in all, it's got about $12,500 worth of mods done to it. Now, they're not still worth $12,500, but there was labor putting them on. I would discount those down to about 8 grand for the mods, which means the car is worth about $26,000, giving him a margin of $10,000. So, to answer the question, yes, he did really good on this one, saved himself about $10,000. Now he's got some time into it. He had to come in one weekend and paint the car, and that was his own materials that he did on it. But all in all, Nate did really good on this one. And before I wrap things up, I want to give a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, Surfshark VPN. And for those of you that are interested, there's a link below that'll get you additional 4 months of protection using promo code NKYAuto. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Matt Ryan, and this is another episode of NKY Auto.